Hey there, it is showtime. Hey, if you are on my newsletter list, you know that I've been talking about mindfulness. I've been giving you elements of mindfulness. Well, today we're going to talk about how mindfulness can transform your life, and we're even going to do some mindfulness exercises in just a moment. Hey, I'm glad you're with me. I'm glad you joined me today because we're going to talk about something that is very dear to my heart. It transformed my life. I started using mindfulness many years ago, and I went from being anxious, angry, upset, sad, feeling like the world was caving in on me and I had no control, to feeling and experiencing the moment, being in the present. And it just changed the way I interacted with the world around me. And so I want to share with you some of the benefits, but I also want to give you an experience of what mindfulness is like. Now, before we get started, I want to remind you of just a few things that I need you to do, okay? This is what I need you to do for me. First, I want you to follow me on Instagram and on Facebook at ML Bailey Consultants. This is really important. Please follow me because I want to get the message out about stress management and mindfulness in particular to women who consider themselves superwomen. Superwomen, right? We want it all. We want to do it all. We want to have it all. And it's just wearing us out. So please, please, please follow me. The other thing I want to ask you to do is to subscribe to MO Bailey Consultants on YouTube. If you subscribe or when you subscribe, you will definitely have access to all of the videos, the live streams that we do on a weekly basis. So please also subscribe to ML Bailey Consultants. That's a big thing for me and it will help me as well. So let's talk about mindfulness. What exactly what exactly is it? And how do we get started? As I told you, it transformed my life. I went from being anxious and feeling like my world was out of control to now feeling peaceful, feeling calm, feeling equipped to have feeling equipped so that I can handle or manage whatever comes my way. Mindfulness changed the way that I interact, respond, and react to my world, the world that's around me. And this is what I want to share with you today. The first thing I want to do is I want to ask you to just take a few moments because we're going to go into a little training. I'm going to give you a couple of things to do. First, I need you to get a raisin. Now, I know a lot of people don't like raisins, but get something small that you can eat. It could be a candy bar, peanut, it could be a raisin, it could be a cranberry, it could be a cookie, it could be a carrot stick. Run, get that, and then come back. I should have asked you to do that before, but run, quick, 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 do that. And then I'm going to have our PowerPoint, our presentation set up when you come back. So go right now, go get your raisin or go get your carrot stick. Get something that you can munch on because I'm going to give you an activity near the end so you can experience that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to do that. All right. Are you back? Okay. So even if you don't have a carrot stick or a raisin, um, you can replay this or watch the replay, and you can have that uh, experiential activity that we're going to do at the end. You can participate in it at your leisure. But right now, I want you to, we're going to do a short mindfulness practice. And it's just going to bring each of us into the present, into the moment, into our bodies in this moment. And this meditation is called a grounding meditation. And it won't take long. It's just going to take about 5 minutes to do. So I want you to first find a comfortable posture with both feet on the floor. You can, if you like, you can sit in a chair comfortably with your hands in your lap, or comfortably resting at the sides on the chair arms, or you can stand, or you can lie down, however is most comfortable for you. Allowing the eyes to close gently if that feels okay, or just lowering your gaze. Now bringing attention into the areas of contact that your feet are having with the floor. Feeling your feet. Noticing the solidity of the ground under your feet. Maybe feeling where your shoes are in contact with your feet. Now moving on to the thighs and buttocks and noticing where they have contact with the chair. Just allowing the ground and the chair to hold and support your body without you needing to do anything. Now moving the attention to your back. Where does your back touch the back of the chair? Can you feel the difference between where there is contact and where there is none? Now moving the attention to your hands, feeling into your hands. Maybe noticing the position of your hands. Maybe noticing what they are touching. Perhaps the chair, your thighs, or maybe the other hand. You can ask yourself, how do I know I have hands without looking? You just know, right? We can feel the hands from within. Now opening the awareness, feeling your entire body sitting here in this moment on this chair. And now, for the last minute or so of our short meditation, bringing the attention to the breath. If you like, you can make the next couple of breaths a little bit deeper so you can really feel the breath. Ask yourself where you feel it the most, or where the sensations are the most pleasant. At the nostrils, where the air comes in, at the back of your throat, in your chest, or maybe in your belly. Using that place as the anchor for your attention, this is where you come back to over and over whenever the mind wanders off. Now letting the breath just breathe itself. No need to make it any other way than it wants to be. And when you notice your attention is somewhere else, gently bring it back to the breath. In a moment, I will ring the bell, and that will end our short mindfulness practice. Okay. So, ooh, sorry about that. There we go. My timer started going crazy. Okay. So, let's talk about what mindfulness is. Mindfulness has a lot, can have different definitions. John Kabat-Zinn, who created mindfulness based stress reduction, defined mindfulness as this. He said that mindfulness is the awareness that arises from paying attention in a particular way on purpose, moment by moment, and non judgmentally. Now, for those of us who have some knowledge of mindfulness, or we've read about mindfulness, or we've looked into mindfulness, we have an idea of what that means. But if you're new to mindfulness, that may sound like a lot of words. And what exactly does it mean? So when we talk about paying attention in a particular way, we're we're talking about what kind of way, right? What kind of way are we looking? Are we paying attention? And we look at it by saying we look at it non-judgmentally, right? We look at it with kindness. So what's a benefit in doing that? Well, life is hard. Life can be a struggle. And especially now during the pandemic that doesn't seem to want to end, it is very difficult. But when we look at a situation from the standpoint of curiosity with kind attention, it changes us, right? It changes the way we view a situation. So when we're talking about looking at a situation in a particular way, we are talking about those elements: being kind, with curiosity, as well. And we'll talk about a few of those other elements. But our minds are trained to look down the road. We don't just stay in the present moment. We're always planning, we're always jumping to the next thing. I mean, it's really kind of hard, right? To stay in the present moment. It's hard not to think what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, or what am I going to do 5 minutes from now, or what is Marcy going to say 2 minutes from now. It's hard for us to stay in the present because we basically function on autopilot. We do things on autopilot where we just cruise. I like to put my cruise control on when I'm driving on the interstate, because I don't have to press the gas pedal. I don't have to press the brake. I don't have to monitor how fast I'm going. It stays in that one place. And that's how we kind of function. We have habits that we don't even think about, and we just cruise. We just function in autopilot. And what that does to us is it makes us feel as if paying attention to the present isn't really worth doing. Why pay attention to the present moment? We should be focusing on what's down the road. But that is not actually accurate, right? Because what happens is we miss things. We miss, it's like somebody gets a touchdown and we missed it because we looked away. We looked away. A few weeks ago, I was in Cleveland, Ohio, and the U.S. women's soccer team was playing. Had a great time. Went to the soccer match with our daughter and my husband, and we were watching the match, and I turned my head for a second, and the U.S. women got a score. It was so quick. I missed it in a split second because I wasn't paying attention. When we are paying attention to the present moment, we can enjoy what's going on. We can see what's happening. We can take in the experience of the moment. And that's where one of the reasons mindfulness is so valuable, because we are not missing opportunities to show kindness, opportunities to be curious, opportunities to actually experience that moment. Now, I have my own definition of mindfulness, and it's just being. It's just being. It's being here and it's being now. It's just being, without judgment, without an opinion. It's just being. So think about it just for a second. What is your definition of mindfulness? How would you define mindfulness in a way that's meaningful for you? Now, there are some foundational attitudes that go along with being mindful. And as I said before, if you are getting my newsletter, you know that I'm covering some of these elements or attitudes, and I'm going to briefly go through them now. We certainly don't have time to cover all of them, but I'm going to go through some of them very quickly. The first is curiosity. And curiosity is really interesting because, first of all, we feel like we know everything. Come on, admit it. We feel like we know everything. But in order to learn, when we focus our attention to the present, we find that we can perceive it fully in total. And we can ask questions like, what is here that I'm not yet aware of? Or what is this? What's behind this? What's actually truly going on here? There's also kindness. Kindness, when you think about kindness, think about it like a fabric softener. You put your clothes, you wash your clothes and you add fabric softener to it, and not only do your clothes come out smelling really nice, they're soft. And you want to just, especially when you get them out of the dryer, you just want to wrap up in them because they smell so good and they're really soft. Kindness is really like a fabric softener. When there's kindness, judgment and harshness go away, or at least they recede, right? Then we have gratitude and generosity. When we express gratitude, we're basically saying, I have. I have. That's very different than saying, I don't have. But gratitude allows us to express that we have. We have enough. We have what we need. We have all of the things that make us who we are. And we're grateful. It shifts our attention to peace, contentment, and calm. Instead of being driven, instead of being discontented and unhappy, because when we express gratitude, there is no lack. There's nothing missing. So gratitude and generosity are interconnected. They connect. And then there's acceptance. Now, acceptance is really, really hard. And sometimes I get questions like, well, does mindfulness mean that everything is rosy and everything is wonderful and that I just have to, live with it? Mindfulness doesn't mean that everything is rosy. It doesn't mean that everything is great either. But when we are functioning in acceptance, we have an understanding that this is just the way it is right now. This is the way the situation is right now. There is no judgment to that, meaning this is awful, this is horrible, this is a bad situation. And there's no, this is wonderful, this is great, this is a wonderful, fantastic situation. It means that acceptance is that this is the way it is right now. It also allows us to say, I don't like the way it is. I don't like how it is, but this is just how it is right now. Another attitude, foundational attitude, is non-judging. Remember, with John Kabat-Zinn's definition, he talked about non-judgmental. That's really hard for us because guess what? Most of us have opinions about a lot of things. If we don't have an opinion about it, then it's something that we're probably not thinking about. But we have opinions about things. We express opinions about things. With being non-judgmental as it relates to mindfulness means that we recognize when we have a judgment or an opinion about something, and we do not judge ourselves about that judgment or opinion. So yes, it is natural to have judgment or opinion, but we don't judge ourselves because of it. Another foundational attitude is non-striving, and it's a core principle. And what it means is that it means that we are fully present in the moment without the need to change it. It means that we can go from what is a habit of doing to a habit of being. It's I always think of it, for those of you who study the Bible, I always think of it like Mary and Martha. Martha was someone who did. She was a doer. She was always busy doing things. Mary, on the other hand, was her thing was to be. She would sit at the feet of Christ and just listen. So there's a difference between doing and being. When we are not striving, we are just being. So let's go over a few more foundational attitudes. The next one is letting go or letting be. So we always have thoughts, emotions, and sensations that we like. We also have thoughts, emotions, and sensations that we don't like. Those thoughts, emotions, and sensations that we like, we hold on to them, right? We hold on to them and we remember them and we replay them. Those that we don't like, we push them away. We don't want to entertain them. The thing about letting go or letting be is when those thoughts, emotions, and sensations are incongruent or don't match the reality. That's when there we have difficulty, right? That's when there is a problem and we need to address it. Patience, humor, trust, and a beginner's mind are also foundational attitudes that belong to mindfulness. A beginner's mind is basically looking at things without preconceived ideas, concepts, or opinions. Looking at it as if we're brand new or the situation is brand new. Have you ever encountered someone that you've had a difficult relationship with after years of not seeing them? It's very natural to think that they have not changed. When we enter into that experience with a beginner's mind, the concept is that we look at this person or interact with this person as if there is a possibility that this person has changed, that this person is different, right? Trust. We have to learn to trust ourselves, and that is one of the principles. Humor. We need to learn to laugh at ourselves and be amused by ourselves. And patience. Patience is, again, not rushing to the next thing, not going from here to there quickly, but allowing ourselves to stay here. Now, there are other considerations of mindfulness that I'd like to share today. And the goal of mindfulness is not relaxation, although relaxation is often an outcome of mindfulness. The goal of mindfulness is to, the goal of mindfulness is to be present in the moment. So it is not relaxation, although we do experience relaxation. So in mindfulness, we don't want to have a goal. There is no goal, right? Basically. Mindfulness is also a practice, right? That is a process. It takes time to develop a full mindfulness practice. And I should say that, because it's not like you can just do it. You're right. When I teach mindfulness and I tell people to focus on their breathing or focus on the breath, it can be difficult to do because we're not accustomed to that level of intensity of focus oftentimes. So it's a practice, but it is a process. The more you practice it, the more you will grow. Also, the more you practice it, the more it becomes a way of life where uh, you can incorporate it into other areas of your life or into your entire life. It's also not a religion. Although it was derived from Buddhist tradition, mindfulness is not a religion. It is a secular practice. Okay. Secular practice. So let's talk about the types of practice. There, with mindfulness, um, there are three types of types of practice. One is focused attention. And this is basically when you bring your concentration and your awareness to your breath, um, or to something, um, where something that you can focus on. There's also open monitoring. And this is paying attention to whatever comes to your mind from one moment to the next. Loving kindness and compassion meditation is another type of mindfulness meditation, and this cultivates warmth and goodwill towards yourself and towards others. But there's also a formal practice and an informal practice. With a formal practice, it's basically meditation. You set aside time, whether that's a minute or whether it's hours of time, and you meditate. You're bringing your attention and awareness to something. Now, there's a difference between um, mindfulness meditation and other types of meditation. In mindfulness meditation, you don't empty your mind. You're actually focusing on something and your awareness is on something. With formal meditation, mindfulness meditation, you have four different body positions. You can sit, you can stand, you can walk, or you can lie down. And I've done all of these. I actually love walking meditations. I just like them. I like doing them. But there are four different body positions. With an informal practice, you're actually just applying what you are doing, right? Applying mindfulness to what you're doing. And the focus is on the sensations like touch, taste, smell, hearing, and seeing. You might also become more aware of your emotions as well as your thoughts. So I know we are over our time, but I do want to do a a mindfulness eating exercise. And again, if you don't have a raisin or if you don't have something to munch on, you can always come back to the replay and do this mindfulness eating exercise. And this is a raisin exercise. It's an exercise that people who teach mindfulness do quite often. And it's very, I'm sorry, I had to take a sip of tea. It is very mind opening. So, if you have a raisin with you or something to munch on, I just want you to listen closely. Listen closely if you don't. But again, you can always come back to the replay and follow this. Now, I'm going to show you that mindfulness is nothing special, but something that we all already know how to do. We will practice this with something that we all do multiple times a day and usually don't give a lot of thought to. We will practice mindful eating. So please take your raisin or whatever you have to munch on, but don't eat it yet. Don't eat it, just put it in your hands. Now, something that comes in very handy in this practice is something that we call beginner's mind. Beginner's mind is the attitude of doing something or experiencing something as if for the first time. When we have done something many times, we lose beginner's mind and we start doing it on autopilot. So stay with me here and pretend that you have never seen something like this in your entire life. We will examine this yet to be named thing one sense at a time. So let's start with seeing. Tell me what you see. Now let's touch it. Tell me or think about what you feel. Now let's smell it. Now let's listen to the object. You need to roll it or it won't talk to you. Now let's just hold the object for a moment between thumb and index finger, but don't move it. Perhaps just imagine putting the object in your mouth. What do you notice? Now I invite you to bring the object to your lips and feel it with your lips. What's that like? Is that the same or different than feeling it with your fingers? If it's different, in what way? Now put it on your tongue, but don't bite down yet. Feel it with your tongue. Again, is that the same or a different sensation than with your fingers or your lips? Now bite down once. What happens? What do you notice? Now slowly begin to chew the object. Perhaps you notice an urge to swallow, but don't. It's just an urge. You don't have to give in to every urge you feel. Continue chewing until there's nothing left of the object. Pay attention to how your tongue and cheeks expertly position the bits remaining so that they are between your teeth. When you are ready, when you decide, go ahead and swallow. noticing you are exactly one raisin heavier. So, what was that like? What did you learn, if anything? What did you experience? Well, I hope this was a great experience for you. We're going to talk about mindfulness throughout the month of October because as we move into the holiday season, oftentimes it gets really tough for some of us. So, we're going to give you those tools, actual tools that you can use to help you to get through it. Help you to get through. I'm Marcyline Bailey. I'm glad you joined me. I look forward to next week being with you. Take good care.